Hi guys, and welcome into this full moon in Leo energy transmission. This full moon is actually really relevant for a lot of things that I am moving through right now. So I wanted to create an energy transmission. So let's first take a minute to orient you to the space, because this is not a meditation. This is not something that you need to prepare yourself for. It is an energy transmission. You don't need to lie down. You don't need to close your eyes. You don't need to relax or visualize or do any of those kinds of things. What matters is not how you listen, but that you don't try to perform the experience. Because this is not a teaching. This is a field that you enter. So let the words land wherever they land. Let the pauses do their work. If something resonates, you do not need to analyze it. If something feels uncomfortable, you do not need to fix it. Just notice what happens when you stop managing yourself. Now we begin. This moment matters, not because of astrology, not because of timing, hype, but because visibility is no longer optional. A cycle has reached its limit, not a calendar cycle, an identity one. The version of you that knew how to adapt, how to read the room, how to manage perception, how to stay safe by staying palatable, that version has completed its function. This full moon in Leo is not asking you to become louder. It is asking you to stop hiding. Not performatively, not dramatically, but honestly. Leo energy is not about being seen by others. It's about being rooted in yourself before anyone else has a say. This is the threshold where authorship returns. Authorship means you stop outsourcing your truth for belonging. You stop adjusting your essence to maintain connection. You stop explaining what your body already knows. This is not a moment for analysis. It's a moment for orientation. Will you continue managing how you are received? Or will you inhabit yourself fully, without apology, without performance, without editing who you are? This activation is not about opening your heart. It's about removing the armor you no longer need. A chapter is closing, not because everything feels resolved, but because you are done carrying it forward. And authors don't wait for permission to tell the truth to themselves. Before truth can land, something must be completed. And completion is not a feeling. It's not relief. It's not emotional resolution. Completion is a decision. There is a version of you that learned how to be received. That version learned how to soften your truth, how to read energy before you spoke, how to shape yourself in anticipation of reaction. Not because you were weak, but because you were intelligent. Because your nervous system learned what kept you connected. That version did its job. But what once protected you now costs you in presence. This full moon marks the end of that role. And it's not because it was wrong, it's not because it failed, but because it's no longer required. Completion does not need agreement from the body. It does not need the mind to feel ready. It does not wait for safety to be guaranteed. Completion happens when authorship returns. You get to decide that you are no longer living in reference to who you had to be. You get to decide that self-expression no longer needs strategy. You get to decide that truth does not need to be pre-edited to deserve space. Now, your mind might argue here. It might say, but what if I misunderstood? But what if I lose connection? But what if it's not safe yet? Those questions belong to an old chapter. And authors do not negotiate with identities that have already completed. The moment you claim completion, energy releases. Not dramatically, not emotionally, structurally. What no longer belongs in your future stops asking to be carried. This is how identity cycles close. Not through processing, not through revisiting, but through decision. That version of you is complete because you say it is. Even after completion, autopilot tries to keep running. Not because you choose it, but because it was practiced. Autopilot is not a flaw. It is a nervous system habit. It learned how to keep you connected by staying alert and responsive and adjustable. It learned how to track tone, to read micro shifts in energy, to anticipate how you might be received before you ever spoke. And it did this faster than thought. Autopilot doesn't ask what you want. It asks what will keep you safe. So it softens your words before you feel the impulse to speak. It adjusts your presence before you notice yourself doing it. It monitors reactions in real time, tracking approval, comfort, alignment, all beneath awareness. This is how self-abandonment continues, even after healing. Not because you don't know better, but because the body is efficient. Autopilot keeps you oriented outward. And when orientation stays external, authorship cannot fully land. This is the subtle cost. You might feel it as a tightness in your chest when you consider telling the truth, a hesitation in your voice before you express a desire, a familiar impulse to explain or soften or preempt. These are not problems to fix. They are signals that leadership has not fully re-entered the body yet. Identity resets do not happen through insight. They happen when orientation changes. When the nervous system stops asking, how will this land? And starts asking, what is true for me right now? That is the interruption point. Autopilot will arise. That is inevitable. Authorship is what happens next. Not by force, not by suppression, but by choosing presence instead of adjustment. By staying in your body instead of scanning the room. By letting truth organize your energy before the world has a say. This is not dramatic. It is precise. And this is where the reset begins. Here is the distinction that changes everything. The heart is not an emotion. It is an orientation. It is not volatility. It is not impulsivity. It is not following your feelings. The heart is a place you lead from when you are no longer negotiating with fear. Autopilot reacts. Authorship responds. Autopilot adjusts to the room. Authorship organizes the room through presence. When authorship returns, you don't become louder. You become clearer. You stop asking, how should I show up here? And you start answering, this is how I am here. This is heart-led living, not expressive, not dramatic, but rooted. The heart does not chase safety. It assumes it internally. And from that assumption, your posture changes, your breath deepens, your voice steadies. You are no longer managing connection. You are inhabiting yourself and letting connection respond. This is what Leo energy actually carries. Not visibility for attention, but visibility without apology. You do not explain your truth, you stand in it. You do not perform sincerity, you embody it. And when the heart becomes orientation, decision-making simplifies. Boundaries stop being forceful, they become obvious. Expression stops being risky, it becomes accurate. You're no longer waiting to see how something lands before you commit to it. You commit internally first. This is authorship. Not control, not rigidity, but leadership of your own energy before the world has a say. This is the moment you take the pen back. And this is where authorship becomes tangible. Every moment carries frequency, not intention, not effort, frequency. And for a long time, many of you learned to lead with performance. Performance of safety, performance of calm, performance of being easy to be with. But performance fragments energy. It splits the body from truth. It asks the nervous system to multitask, to be here but also ahead, present but also monitoring. Leo energy ends that split. This full moon asks a very simple question. What frequency do you lead with when you stop managing outcomes? Not what sounds good, not what looks evolved, but what is true. Do you lead with contraction, bracing your body and softening your voice and holding tension in your jaw and shoulders as you wait for the world to decide if it's safe? Or do you lead with presence, grounded in your feet, open in your chest, letting your energy arrive before explanation follows? Do you continue to match others to preserve harmony? Or do you allow resonance to do the organizing? This is not about being confrontational. It's about being coherent. Choose the frequency that reflects who you are when you're not adapting. Maybe it's clarity, maybe it's steadiness, maybe it's courage, maybe it's simplicity, maybe it's calm power. Whatever it is, choose it cleanly, not as a performance, as a posture. Anchor it in your breath. Anchor it in your spine. Anchor it in how you occupy space. This is how identity becomes lived, not through repetition, but through consistency of presence. When autopilot pulls, and it will, you don't fight it. You return to the frequency you've chosen to lead with. This is the difference between reacting and creating, between managing and inhabiting. between surviving and leading. When you stop performing, life begins to respond differently. Not because you try harder, but because your energy is no longer split. Conversations become cleaner. You say what you mean without preamble or defense. Your body relaxes in spaces where it used to brace. You notice yourself staying present instead of scanning for reaction. Decisions simplify, not because they are easier, but because you are clearer. Relationships recalibrate. Some deepen because they were waiting for your truth. Some fall away because they were built on adaptation. Neither is a failure. Both are information. And your nervous system begins to trust you. Breath deepens, posture shifts, voice steadies. You stop needing momentum from the outside because you are no longer disconnected on the inside. This is what happens when heart becomes orientation. Not chaos, not disruption. Alignment. The world meets you where you are willing to stand. This is the threshold, not into becoming more visible, but into being finished hiding. The Leo full moon does not demand expression. It reveals where expression is already true. You do not need to announce yourself. You do not need to explain your truth. You need to stop leaving when it's time to stay present. Stand in your body. Feel your feet. Feel your spine. And let your breath settle into your chest. This is what visibility looks like when it's not performative. Quiet, rooted, unapologetic. You are allowed to be seen by yourself. You are allowed to trust what you feel. You are allowed to let your presence lead. This moment is not about action. It's about orientation. And orientation changes everything. Carry this frequency forward into conversations, into decisions, into the moments where you used to adjust. Not loudly, not dramatically, but honestly. This is not the end of something. It is the return to living without armor. If you feel the pull to stay with this work, not to analyze it, but to live it, my library exists as a space for that. It holds transmissions just like this, reflections and tools that help you build the capacity to stay present with yourself without performance or pressure. It is there if and when you are ready. I hope this transmission lands. Thank you for being here, and happy full moon.